Okay, my name is Muhammad Izzuddin bin Izzahar and my ID number is 9711231055690001 and I'm studying in course Bachelor of Manufacturing Management with Honors. I will choose an informative education speech for my task. First of all, for your information, education divided into three types, which are formal education, informal education, and non-formal education. For formal education, it usually begins in elementary school, which is sekolah kebangsaan, and continues through middle school, sekolah menengah, and high school from SIC or matric, and beyond diploma, degree, master, and PhD. And for informal education is the type of knowledge that one gains through several life experience. This knowledge can be the one that we obtain from our parents and elders, individual necessary skill of life that are important to survival and sustain comes under this category. It does not contain the theoretical knowledge of the book. I will explain in detail later about informal education. The last one, non-formal education. One would think that non-formal education would be similar to informal education based on its name, but it has more in common with formal education in that it often involves instruction from a teacher. However, it does not rely on a syllabus or any set structure. If there is a structure in place, it is malleable by the teacher and can be customized to meet a student needs. Some examples of non-formal education include job training, adult education course, fitness course, and any one tutoring season can be customized with the student in mind. So it's a brief explanation about the type of education. Why I choose to speak for informal education is because lately I have been watching a few influenced parents teaching their kids in informal education. For example, Dr. Syed Muzaffar and Dr. Ahlina teaching their kids to wash their dishes and after eating. Common work like cleaning the house, swimming, cycling, playing several sports like running and playing football. Another example, I very admire one of the celebrities in Malaysia, which is Johan Raja Lawak, teach their kids about spirituality in Islam. Besides, based on my past life, my mom has taught we are simply several things which we have to work together cleaning the house, how to cook rice, fried chicken, vegetable, and the other food. Not forget to my father too, he teach and watch over me how to ride a motorcycle to ensure I'm in safety riding. Also, he teach me how to drive a car. Besides, informal education also occur in the workplace. Informal learning approach are prevalent through most work environment. They can occur in the break room or the hallway just as frequently as the conference room. So here's several things that can happen during in workplace. An engineer sharing a shortcut tip during using engineering software, which is AutoCAD, Autodesk Mastercam, and the other software. Next, an employee voluntary participation in a coaching and mentoring program. It also can happen during the official event or unofficial program, which is in weekly meeting program or presentation work. Other than that, it also can happen for team collaboration among production employees to ship a large order. As in the case of the previous set of example, informal learning in the workplace can occur in any company department and in a variety of settings. Informal learning is often responsible for the majority of an employee acquired knowledge about day-to-day job duties and office procedure. Okay, so the conclusion, at the center of the evaluation is the importance of individual student needs. Effective senior secondary pathway and curriculum are linked to how well schools have responded to the individual learning and career pathway of their students. This evaluation identifies the need for schools to be more innovative to meet the need of all their students. It signals that the future success for secondary school students is depend on school identifying and responding to the aspiration, strength, culture, and need of their students. The most responsive school put considerable effort into ensuring teachers understood the goal for each student and design programs that encourage students to increase their own self-awareness and self-management to monitor progress toward achieving their goals. The question that remains is how can such leadership and self-managing skills be developed in all schools to help students find out about their future abilities and what they need to do to achieve them. The innovation required in secondary school should be supported by robust self-review that can determine whether new approach are making the intent improvement for students. Many of the school ERO identified as responsive to the individual pathway and strength of students are related in the development of their curriculum, career and pastoral system. When new approaches are developed, they are examined in terms of how they support individual students, and changes are made to ensure that they can respond as necessary. The pattern of underachievement across the school in the evaluation reflect the central focus on designing the school curriculum and having systems that will offer each student a role at the school. However, while responsive school had systems that tend to work for individuals, most of these schools did not have high number of students with challenging social needs. Many of the schools that had limited responsiveness tend to have significant areas to develop in their curriculum, careers or pastoral care system. They also had higher proportion of students who were already behind when they started in year 9 and brought with them challenges associated with their socio-economic status. An increasing response to the individual pathway of student necessitates the need for greater coordination between the education, social and business program available for students and their families. Almost all schools in this evaluation had students who did not achieve national qualification. Improvement cannot be achieved by school working in isolation. School need to have families and community business along with other government agencies and education providers working together with them to support the diverse interests of each student. To achieve greater number of students in succeeding across the education system, more coordinated social support is needed for some students to complement the curriculum improvement that are required in some secondary schools. Further, work is needed to highlight and introduce good practice related to how schools with high number of priority learners in particular can work with family, outside agencies and other educational institutions to meet the educational and social needs for learners.